Welcome to Cross Search. I'm Jody Papike. Today, I want to chat about a topic that I'm extremely passionate about, and that is helping advisors go independent. When we were formed in 1989, our sole focus was helping advisors that were at wirehouses go independent to an independent broker dealer. Today, that has changed tremendously in the sense that there are advisors that are employees at not only wirehouses, because certainly there are a lot of advisors still at wirehouses, but you can find employee advisors at an RIA, at a captive agency, at all different types of firms, including independent broker dealers. So the first thing that I wanted to touch on is if you are at an employee type environment, no matter what the circumstances are, there really is a process to going independent. And when I say independent, what I mean is owning your own book of business, really controlling your own destiny, making your decisions for your clients and the investments and what's best for your business. The word independent has really evolved over the years, but that's the definition that I'm using for what I'm talking about today. So there are several steps that I suggest for advisors that are trying to go independent. And the first one is really taking an honest look at what your strengths and weaknesses are. In most situations where an advisor is an employee, a lot of things are handled for them. It could be everything from the office, coming in and essentially just turning on the lights and getting your day started without having to worry about anything from HR to signing a lease, to all of the things that go into running an office. So we like to talk to advisors about really what are those things that you feel are your strengths and also weaknesses, because for the things that you don't enjoy doing, there are so many different types of scenarios in the independent world that can solve for those things. For example, if you're an advisor, you don't want to deal with running a branch location, signing a lease, and having anything to do with a physical office. There are a lot of structures that you can tuck into where all of that is taken care of for you, but you're still an independent advisor. So that's the first step, is really understanding what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and how can we solve for those things. The second thing I like to suggest to advisors is really taking a hard look at your contract. This is really, really important. And I always suggest that an advisor talk to a securities attorney to take a deep dive look into their contract very early on in the process. Because what we're finding is contracts are so different. And we really have to plan the transition and even the types of firms that we're going to consider based on how you're going to navigate that contract. So that's a really important step in the process. The third thing is taking a look at your current book of business and really understanding and being honest with yourself again about how did you get these clients? Did you inherit these clients? Some of these clients, is a lot of the clients that you have with you because of the name recognition of the firm that you're with. And on the other side of that, did you really do the work to cultivate these client relationships and have a really deep relationship with these clients, and they're there because of you? The reason why this is so important is because looking at your book of business and understanding, or at least having a high level understanding of who you think will come with you versus who might stay, will help us look at the economics of your transition. The fourth part of the process, once we understand all of that, is doing some due diligence. And that process can take anywhere from 2 months to 4 months, even longer in some situations. But we help advisors analyze what type of firm is going to be the best fit for you, all the way through negotiating your contract, your compensation, and everything in between for an advisor. And then the last and final stage of the process is your transition phase. And that is somewhere between, depending on your situation, a 4 to 6 week timeline where we get everything prepared for your move. Now, going back to the contract, that process can be very detailed if you can take client data with you and do a lot of that prep work ahead of the time that you move your licenses. But it also can be maybe a sped up process for advisors that really are going to take minimal information with them or no information with them. But every transition is customized for the advisor's unique circumstances. So obviously, this is a very complex process, but something that we help advisors with every single day. If you have any questions about any of this or you want to explore your opportunities, we'd love to talk to you. Give us a confidential call.